Hi guys, this is a video about two types of motors, well, two brand, and I want to know sort of like what are your thoughts on these two motors, guys. Firstly, I have my old favorite Xpwr motor. This is done by Extreme Flight. All the Extreme Flight kits that I have has got these motors in. This is an Extreme Flight Slick 580. Also it has a Xpwr 4016T motor in, which is recommended. Okay, this motor runs absolutely fine. I've had it in flight a few times. And I also want to talk about the Duelsky motors, the GA range. I've got the 20cc motors, and I've also got the Duelsky 40cc motors. And okay, just here I have been getting some problems with the Xpwr motors, and I don't know what your thoughts are out there. However, they were good enough to replace one of them, which I do like these motors, but it's just I don't feel as though the winding, the plastic coating on the winding are thick enough, and when it gets to a certain temperature it breaks down, it melts, and the motor becomes like this. Can you hear how rough it is? Now this motor is not good for anything other than paperweight. However, I did also have another motor, exactly the same, and the winding was burnt out. The whole thing was burnt out after 3 flights. They replaced it with a brand new one, which, as you can hear, nothing. It doesn't grind or nothing, which is good. And also, in this model, when I first bought the motor, I bought one, which is a 4016T. Now, again, I bought that motor from Belgium. That was the only place that they had it in stock. So I bought it from Belgium, shipped over here, fitted it in, and within a couple of flights, it was burnt out. So I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to wait till UK stock comes back in and put another one in, and I did, and this one's okay. Now, each time these motors gets burnt out, they feel very rough on the bearings. I don't know why. I think it's something to do with the magnet, or it may be the bearings, but I've stripped them apart, the small motor 4016T, and I checked the bearings to see why does it feel rough, and the bearings were fine. However, I kind of like discarded the whole broken down motor thing and fitted a new one in, and it runs fine. Now then, going back to the Duelsky GA motors, looking at how they manufacture the motor winding seems to be a bit thicker, and looking at my motor, looking into the winding, there seems to have a thicker coating on the actual wind to protect the wire from, you know, burning out, etc. So far, guys, these Duelsky motors hasn't let me down yet. I'm not saying that It's never going to let me down, and I'm not saying that it's going to let me down in future, but I'm saying it's not let me down yet. And it just seems to be, for me, it seems to be a better choice of motor. But it doesn't mean that I will stop using the Xpwr motors, because they are good motors when they, when they are problem free. But I guess in life, like anything, it's never problem free. It's never easy. But the key thing was for me is when I had a problem and it was under guarantee warranty, they replaced it. Just going to put this motor away. But my preferred motor, only through experience, and I guess everybody has their own sort of likes. If you were fitted in a motor that it's problem free, you always go and buy that motor, buy the brand. And that's how I was with Xpwr motors. But I do want to know whether any of you guys out there experienced any problems with Xpwr motors, maybe burning out or smoking out. And also I do like to know whether you guys out there have experienced any of the Duelsky motors, the GA range, burning out or smoking out, or bearings rough. It's always handy to know other people's experience, but this is my experience on the motors, on both of the motors, and at the moment I'm leaning towards Duelsky, but before it was 50-50, but at the moment I am leaning towards Duelsky, purely because I find the quality, the wind just seems to be a bit on the edge of the upper end, if you know what I'm trying to say, without offending motors lovers, certain brand of motor lovers. So there we are. I'd just like to know your thoughts on both of the motors, guys, and if you guys out there have experienced any smoked out motors or burnt out motors. I mean, when I first started with this electric hobby, I used to get all my motors from Hobby King, and I've had good, I've had bad. They are cheap and cheerful, but what I have found with them is the bearings always seems to go eventually. They just doesn't seem to have the sort of heavy duty bearings. So then I've stopped using them because I was so sick of the motors having slack bearings, and then I switched to different brands. And I would like to know, what are your guys out there, what are your thoughts on certain type of motors, like the Xpwr motors. Some people like them, but they do say with Xpwr motors you do have to change your bearings regular, because they are made really primarily for helicopters. That's what I have been led to believe, and that is why they always say you have to oil the bearings on Xpwr motors. But however, this video is really purely getting it out there to you guys. What are your thoughts on motors? And maybe you guys out there thinking of either one of the motors, just do your homework before you purchase anything, and obviously read up and down about it before you do your purchase. but the both motors are equally strong as each other in terms of power output if you are looking at the same comparison on CC. But I am, for myself, this is just me, obviously I'm not pushing any motors because I don't get sponsorship, so this is just me. That's my experience on both of the motors, and at the moment Duelsky seems to have the edge over the winding. So there we are. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you like what I do, please give me the thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please do, and you will get a future notification on updated video. Thanks so much, and guys, have a good day. Safe, fly safe.